So first thing I want to do is start off basically with some basic shit for you guys. As far as DFS goes, you guys pretty much understand the gambling. Most of you, if you don't, just ask questions. The chat room, everyone is very helpful. I'll be more than happy to help you guys with all that. Go to DFS Data Hub, iconic drop down, and go to DFS breakdowns. Okay, scroll down. So all right there. So basically, each day, what we're doing on the DFS side, and we'll be adding to this, as I told you, I got a couple more people we're going to be bringing on over the next week or two to do DFS content. And then we're going to have the new site, which I keep being told for telling me it's this week. So, which means it'll be in a month and a half. We have the new site. We'll have it a little more organized. But right now, basically what we're doing is myself, Night Ghost, and Joey are doing DFS breakdowns each day. Me and Joey are in the same article. We use the same format. And go to Ghost's first iconic, if you can click on Ghost pitching stats, pitching slate article. If you go in there, basically, you just scroll through it so you can see it. So that's Night Ghost pitching thoughts, all the pitchers on the slate, and then he breaks it down by the guys he likes the most. Whenever you're seeing that, you see elite. Now stay there. When you see elite, go down a little more. Where it says elite. Right there. So you see where it's you see where it says elite mid-tier door number 3. You'll see that in all the articles. That's something I've been doing for a long time. Elite pitchers are the high price guys. So those are the guys that are expensive in DFS. Mid-tier pitchers are the mid-tier guys. So those are the guys that aren't that expensive, more moderate. And door number 3 is usually a high-risk guy, a cheap guy, or a low-owned guy. So it comes from the game show, whatever that show was. Bill, you probably know what show it was. Where I say, what's behind door number 3? And it could be a donkey or a yacht, right? And you got to take that chance. So that's basically how the pitching is always broken down. I'll break down the DFS aspect of it all in a minute, but I just want to explain the articles. We'll write up kind of what our takes on the articles are. I kind of go to me and Joey's. Let's make a deal. That's what it is. All right, exactly. So if you go to the next article, that's mine and Joey's. Joey will usually have his stuff out earlier. He's actually been doing a very good job at getting it out early. So Joey, I'm shocked and proud. So go down to Joey's stuff. Joey will write his breakdowns. We're usually pretty much on the same place. The other down, iconic. There you go. So Joey will do the same kind of thing. He'll break down the pitchers. So what you want to do is, the best thing to do is between the optimizer, myself, Joey, and Night Ghost, you see certain players popping up all over the place on all of our write-ups. I know that's a good one. Like you'll see Musgrove on all of our write-ups tonight, right? Then you'll see the mid-tier. Just keep scrolling a little bit. You'll see the mid-tier. We'll ignore Joe Ross. Keep going. And the stacks. So me and Joey are doing stacks right now. So a stack in DFS is when you play multiple players from the same team. Okay, and you guys really want to take notes on everything I'm saying right now. Because I'm just going to go through things and you're going to forget all this. All right. I know it's being recorded, but take notes. Start taking notes. We have some taking notes too, but I want you to take your own. Right. So basically a stack in DFS is when you play multiple players on the same team. Okay. So if you were going to make a FanDuel lineup tonight, my FanDuel lineup has Turner, Mookie Betts, Taylor, all from the Dodgers. Okay. The reason you do stacks and the reason they're so popular in DFS, and it's pretty much what everyone does, because baseball is a sport with a lot of variance. Okay. So there's a lot of unpredictability, as we know. Mike Trout can go 0 for 4 versus the worst pitcher in baseball. What you do is you identify teams that you're going to do well, and then you basically stack 3 or 4 guys from that team, right? So it takes away the risk of having to pick the exact player that goes off. And it allows you to basically just get the meat of the order, right? So it's higher probability Then if the team goes batshit, like St. Louis is doing right now, you have Edman, DeJong, Goldschmidt. What you'll notice with a lot of pitchers, a guy like Joe Ross is a guy who either does really well or really bad. If you happen to catch one of those nights where he does really bad and you have 4 St. Louis Cardinals, you're going to be shooting to the top of all the leaderboards. So that's what the stacks are there. So there's chalk, another term that we use a lot. So you hear someone say that stack is chalk. That means it's going to be extremely, right? So it'll be a chalk stack, right? Contrarian, GPP stack, those terms would be for stacks that are going to be much lower owned, right? So in this industry nowadays, most people know who the chalk is, and most people know who the contrarian plays are. Back in the day when I first started, it was the Wild West. Nowadays, everyone is a little more educated on it. Everyone has some idea of where we're going. So when you're playing in these tournaments, which are called GPPs, GPP, the tournament, it's where you see the ones where you can win 100 times your money, 1,000 times your money. Okay. In those tournaments, you want to get a little weird. We'll talk a little bit about strategy to do that. But let me get through the articles here first. You're playing cash games, which we'll talk about in a minute. You want to be a little safer. All right. We'll break that down in a minute. So first, let me stop here. Who has questions on what we just went over with the stacks or the pitching tiers? If you guys have any questions, write them in the chat right now. A GPP stands for guaranteed prize pool.
Tommy, this is kind of more of an advanced question, but it's what boxes do pitchers and hitters have to check for them to be on your radar?
We'll get into that. Yeah,
Okay.
let's get into the basics first. But
Save that.
Yeah, save that.
Mhm.
How many people from the same team can be combined in the max? Yes, that's a good question, Lex. So I think on DraftKings it's 5 and FanDuel it's 4. Right, so you can only put 4 people from the same team at most on FanDuel. When I first started in 2012, you could put 9. and we all used to, and that basically got banned pretty quickly. 4 people on FanDuel, 5 people on DraftKings. That's including the pitcher. So if you want to pitch May tonight of the Dodgers, you'd only be able to get 3 hitters with him. Okay, that's very common for people to play 3 or 4. There's also something called mini stacks. Okay, mini stack is just 2 guys. For those, you usually want guys that are close to each other in the batting order. But when you're stacking, you want guys that are like the number 2 and number 3 hitter, or the number 4 and number 5 hitter. Don't go crazy if it's the 4 and 6 hitter. That's fine. You want guys that are batting back to back in the lineup, because if they both do well, one of them is going to get a hit, he's going to get on base, and then the other guy is going to get a hit and drive him in. So like you get that kind of train going. Teams put rallies together. So I like to stack guys who are close together in the lineup. You also want to usually try and get as much exposure to guys who are at the top of their lineups. Because a guy who's batting first, second, or third is probably going to get that extra at bat for the course of a game than the guy who's batting 7th, 8th, or 9th. Okay. So you want more at bats. At bats equal opportunity. Opportunity equals points. Points equal money. Okay. So you want usually guys batting towards the top of the lineup. Also going to normally be the guys who are a little higher owned. What other questions we got, Hoffman?
Okay. How do you identify those variant pitchers?
I mean, we'll be doing that for you. That'll come with just getting to know game. But if you just click on their names, let me finish this off. Let's finish this off here. So scroll down a little bit more, Iconic, and then I'm going to have you go to like a DraftKings page. You scroll down a little bit more at the bottom here, we'll put in our favorite plays of the day, which is usually the higher priced guys, and we'll put in the cheap guys we like. Cheap guys are important. They're actually critical because everyone knows Mike Trout, Ohtani, Mookie Betts, Justin Turner. Everyone knows those guys are the guys you want in your lineup. They're also almost $5,000 each. So you can't get too many of them. The only way you're going to be able to get a lot of the high price guys is if you can fill in some what's called punts. Okay, that's a name for a cheap guy in the industry. I'm punting the position. He's a punt play. That's a cheap guy. That's a guy like Tommy LaStella, right? There's a hit for Segura. Let's go. All right.
Let's go.
It's big. All right. So when you're punting the position, think of it like football. What do you do when you punt? We're pretty much giving up and trying to get field position. So it's the same thing when you're punting second base. Like, I'm not going to spend up a lot of money. I'm going to just punt this position and get someone cheap. Then you're going to hope he does well. Right? It's one of the main things that you're doing there. Give me another question.
So basically, pitching and batting order are the most important things. That's from Maddie.
Pitching is the most important, right? So the pitching, that's why I usually spend up for pitching. Because if you miss on your pitcher, you're pretty much dead. On DraftKings, you have 2 pitchers. On FanDuel, you have 1. Okay? So the 2 pitchers on DraftKings, you usually want to spend about $18,000. Okay? On 18 grand is what you usually want to spend on your pitchers. So if you have a pitcher that's $12,000, that's really high. You're probably going to need to go at a pitcher who's a little lower, like 6,000, 7,000 range. Just because if you add a 12,000 pitcher and a 10,000 pitcher, you're looking at $22,000 of salary you spent on pitching. All your hitters are going to be shit. Around 18,000 is a good number to use as a gauge. Don't get stuck to it. You don't have to be on that number. But that's a good gauge to look for on DraftKings. On FanDuel, you only get 1 pitcher. You got to make it count. You usually got to get your pitcher at least pretty close to being right. So I always look for, on a site like FanDuel, just pull this up here on my screen so I could see it. The way
hey guys,
that
real quick, tag me in all the questions, guys. I see them all, but make sure you just tag me so I make sure I don't miss
you
anything.
start the hashtag, Hoffman. Start a hashtag with it.
There is a questions hashtag already.
I think we deleted it because we had too many hashtags.
No, it's still there.
Is it? Okay, good.
I mean, it's fine if they just do it in the main chat. I'm seeing all of them. I just want to make sure I get everyone's.
Write them down? Okay, cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool. So you're looking at FanDuel. It's a little more important to make sure you nail your pitcher, just for the simple fact that you only have 1 of them. Okay? So it makes it more important. Now, most people try to the highest price pitcher. They try to get the Max Scherzer, the highest price guy. So they are going to be chalky, the high price pitchers, which means they're going to be very popular. Not going to win a lot, the big tournaments on DFS, if you're picking all the obvious guys. Because then you're competing with a bunch of other people who have basically the same team as you, right? So the way, if you looked at the night that I won the $134,000, a bunch of my guys were popular, but I had Higashioka and 1 or 2 guys like that who were 1% owned, which means no one wanted that fucking guy. And he hit 2 home runs. So all you need is that one guy, that little cheap guy who goes off, and that separates you from the field. All right. So you want to make sure you get a little weird with your tournament lineups. Okay. That's very important. You don't want to just go in there and take all the most popular people. All right. That's good for cash games, which we'll talk about in a minute. So FanDuel, you can go cheap with pitching too on FanDuel. That's fine. Just know, and I'll write that in there. If you read the write-ups, you'll see what I say about it. I would normally try to do 2 or 3 lineups. So I wouldn't just do 1 lineup and just live or die with that. I usually do 3 lineups every single night. So every night I'll do 3 lineups, and I'll go in there and I'll make 1 lineup a little bit crazy while I make a really cheap pitcher. Maybe I'll go the other 2 with my main pitcher. Okay. So you want to have 2 or 3 lineups. Some people go 5, and then we have the optimizer if you wanted to build 150 lineups. We're not even going to talk about that stuff yet, because none of you are anywhere near that. So for right now, just get comfortable building 2, 3, 4 lineups, and that way you get a little bit of everything. You could get a couple lineups with the main guy you want. You could take a shot on a cheap guy, and then you could do a hedge stack, which is what I'll explain to you in a little bit.
Can I ask a quick question? 2-game slates. Same idea or no? Like, can I just?
We'll get into that. The 2-game
Okay.
slates, we're going to use a little more contrarian strategy because it's going to be even more obvious.
Yeah. Okay.
You want to get a little weird even on that. But I like 3 lineups. Therefore, my favorite contests are the 3-entry max contests. When you go to the lobby, you'll see it'll say go to the lobby for tomorrow if you can, or FanDuel. You'll see they have 3-entry max, 5-entry max, and I'll do a little tutorial this week where I screen record FanDuel and tap dance through it and explain all the stuff for you, and DraftKings. If you go there, you'll see the one in the middle there, MLB Upper Deck single entry. You have to click on it, but just put your cursor over it, iconic. Yeah, so that's a single entry tournament. So that means only enter 1 lineup. Those are the best tournaments for new people and me. I mean, I like them too, but especially if you're newer, those are the best tournaments because that means the whole field can only put 1 lineup in. If you go to the top one, what's the top one there? It's a little blurry, iconic. Squeeze, click on that so you can see it. And go to rules and scoring. Let me see where it would be. Entries, go to entries. It doesn't say. I think you got to go into the tournament. So if you go into it, it'll tell you it's basically 150 lineup max. So that means you'll have high-end players in the DFS world.
Right there, it says it.
Yeah, it's a little blurry. It's hard to see. You'll have high-end players putting in 150 lineups against your 1. Imagine someone with my skill set in 150 lineups against your 1 lineup. You're dead, right? But at the same token, you could bet a couple dollars to win 50,000. So your chances, I know you look at the prize pools there for those things. They look really sexy. It looks like, oh, I could play $2 and win 100 grand. Chance of you doing that once in your life is probably 0. So you got to get lucky to win those. So if you look at squeeze for tomorrow, there's 35,714 people in it. It's a $5 entry, and first prize is $3,000. Okay, you think you could beat 36,000 people? Nuts. I don't think you can. Okay, so keep in mind, even if you finish like 500th or something, you're still going to win some good money. So it's okay to throw an entry in that. If you're playing like $5-10 a day, anyone wants you going near that. Like build your bankroll up first. Then, if you're playing $100 a day, then you could throw an entry in that thing. I would always say about 15%, even 20%. Probably when you're first starting, 5-10% of your money that you're going to play for that day and be in crazy long shot shit. Where you're just like, fuck it. I'm going to play in $100 today. I'm going to take this $5 and go wild with it. Give it the same way as you would with our gambling. You want to bet the max bets. You want to do the main bets that everyone likes. And then if you want to throw an 18 parlay in, throw it in for $1. That's what these GPPs are. They're long shots. If you hit them, great. But don't bank on those things hitting. The single entries, 3-entry maxes, head-to-heads, the 50-50s are where you're going to be doing all your play. 90% of your play is going to be in those. Because the toughest thing to do and the thing that fucked up this whole industry is when they started letting these fucking computer nerds build these algorithms and put in 150 lineups. It no longer became a skill game. It just became a bunch of fucking programmers getting 1 share of every single person on the board. So no matter who hits a fucking home run, someone has them, right? Which is not fantasy. So you try to avoid getting in too many contests like that. Does that make sense? What other questions we got?
I got 2 more questions. When choosing a cheap player, what stat or stats do you look for?
So when you're looking for your players, basically looking for about 5 to 6x on the lineup on FanDuel. Okay. So you're trying to get to 200. That's really the number, right? So if you can, 6x is really the number on FanDuel. So a $35,000 salary. Oh, Jesus Christ, St. Louis, 10-2. Russ really still in this game. What are they doing? So if you think about it like this, I don't. Yeah, he's not good, Joe. So the number that you're looking for here. So like if I'm looking at a pitcher and he's 10,500, just look at that as 10,000. Okay. So you need 50 points out of him in order to make him worth the money. Just take the first thing before the comma, wipe out anything after the comma. If it's 9,000, it's 9. If it's 4,300, it's 4. The easy way to do it. Wipe out anything after the comma, multiply that number by 6. That's what you need him to score. Have a great performance. All right. If someone's $2,000, he scores you 12 points. He did good. He did great. That's all you're looking for. So that's a kind of easy way. If you're paying $10,000 for a pitcher and he scores you 60 points, he hit value. He did really good to get you to that target of 200 points. All right. Now, usually 4 or 5 times that is good enough for the single entries in cash games. So again, we'll go into this stuff later. I'm just touching on it now. So for the cheap players, we'll have them in the articles. You'll see the value plays and stuff like that. But the optimizer is the best way for those of you that are new to do that. So go to the optimizer real quick. The thing you guys should be doing to start, and it's really blurry. Why can't I see it? All right.
It might be your connection.
Is it mine? Are you guys seeing it blurry too or no?
Some people see it blurry, some don't. It buffers. There's a few different variables. I think I'm maxed out on the quality.
Okay. So if you go to the optimizer, you go to the optimizer, you see main site FanDuel. So we'll just stay up top there. All right, Connor.
Oh, okay, yeah. There we go.
So you'll see site FanDuel. So if you click on that, you go to DraftKings or FanDuel. We'll stay on FanDuel for a minute now, just make it easier. Sport MLB game type classic. Okay, it's fine. So now go to slates. Click on slates for the drop down. So those are all the different slates. The main slate, the one from 7 o'clock to rest of the night. All right, that's the main slate. Most of the main contests are on that. So the main slate is usually starting at 7 p.m. Eastern. It goes for the rest of the night. All right. So if there's 2 or 3 day games, that would be the early slate. Now, once you get to like 9 o'clock and there's only 2 games left, that'll be the late slate. You don't need to really worry about this much now, because if you're just using this for research to start, or you start using it to make lineups, you could actually all day and then look at everything. So for right now, we have the after hours slate left. You'll see those 2 games that are left, the San Diego game and the Dodgers game. Now scroll down a little bit, right, Conic?
Why does it do that? A page, sorry. Here. What the
Scroll
fuck?
down a little bit more.
You want me to go right down to the players?
You go to the players, but you can still see the headers, though. Go up a little bit more where you can still see the headers. Okay. Right now, here's an easy thing to do. If you want to find the best value play, the late slate, make that bigger again.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, I only need to see the first few players. That's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
That's fine. So if you want to see the best value plays, click on F points/$.
F points slide. Okay.
Middle. All right. So that's going to sort that the highest fantasy points per dollar. Okay. So right now you see salary to the left of that green. On the salary column, you can see AJ Pollock, who's one of our plays that we like. He's in my lineup too. 2,200. They project him, if you go all the way to the right where it says fantasy points, F points, project him for 8.62. Okay. He's got a projection of about 4 fantasy points per dollar. Right? So that's good. Like I said, you're looking for 4x, normally 4x, 5x to win a tournament. come in first, you're going to need 6x. Right now, that's 4 times his value. So that's good. You can see it's already sorted there for you. It's literally telling you in that list who the best cheap guys are you should be looking at. So another thing you could do here is you can go click. So now click projection or F points, either one. Just click F points. Okay. It again, so the highest comes at the top. F points dollar. F points, the third to last column.
Oh shit. My bad.
Okay. I'm just going to keep you the simple way to do this right now, guys. We'll do a more advanced version of this later. If you click F points, that's just going to sort it by the guys or projects to score the most points. Okay. Let's say we lock, or you already have it locked. All right. You lock Musgrove. So go lock him again and show him how to do it. You click that little lock thing next to him. That's going to lock that guy in your lineup. So lock Musgrove, lock Turner, and scroll down. Lock Mookie Betts. Okay. Now, what I just told the optimizer to do, and this is the easiest way to use the optimizer. This Bill just started using this. How long ago, Bill? Like 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, right? So Bill will probably be able to tell you a lot of you guys you don't need to learn all the features of the thing yet. Just get comfortable with it. Best thing to do if you want to set a lineup with the optimizer is just go there. Tommy loves Musgrove. Bill's all over Ohtani's prop. This guy, that's it. Just go lock 3 or 4 players that we like and that you like, and then scroll back up a little and hit optimize. Iconic, this is pretty much what you've been doing, right?
Yeah, I've literally been doing this with the 2-game slates. I lock 2 players, a pitcher, and usually my top batter, and it's been profitable for sure.
You can't just optimize without locking anything. I'll tell you that in a minute. There's rules in DFS, but scroll back up. So once Iconic hits optimize, you scroll.
Okay, optimize is right there.
So hit it. So you hit optimize and then scroll slowly. If he scrolls down, once he hits optimize, scroll past the player pools. It's going to spit you out a lineup right there. Okay.
It's the one on the right there.
There you go, on the right. That's the lineup. So that you basically you could see Mookie Betts is in there, Turner's in there, and Musgrove's in there. And the optimizer filled in all the cheap guys that you could build a lineup. And now you can just put that in and play it. And there you are. You're playing a high-level professional DFS lineup right now. You don't even need to know a single fucking thing. All you needed to do is go click 2 or 3 names, lock in the guys you know or that you like. Alyssa likes the Cardinals guys, right? So she can go lock in Edman and Arenado, and then boom, it'll spit out the exact lineup of what's the most optimal. Go back up a little bit to the above the players. A little bit above that.
Right there?
Yeah, okay. So now you can change that to number of lineup. I'm going to show you the simplest thing. I'm not showing you all the other features on this, just the simple shit. You could click on number of lineups. You can make that 5 lineups. So if you click on 5 lineups and do it, now it'll just spit you out 5 lineups. Then you can do 5 and you can pick the one you like the most. You don't have to necessarily pick the highest one or the top one. If you scroll back up to that top one there. Yeah, no, where you were.
Okay, yeah.
First lineup. So in that first lineup, you could see in the top left corner, St. Louis is just going to homer every time they step to the plate right now. You can see in the top left corner, it says projection 117.14. That's the projected score. See the one right below it? It says projection 116.39. Right, so you're talking about fractions of a point. A projection that is not going to be accurate, right? No one's going to project anything to the within even 20 points of this stuff. So the difference between the first lineup and the 5th lineup is literally meaningless. Right? If one's projected for 117, the other one's projected for 115.5, it's fine. Just pick your favorite of those lineups. Maybe it has an extra guy you like or anything like that. So that's the easiest way to get started playing DFS. Okay. So use the optimizer like that. Click a few names you like, and then go and let it do the rest of the work. Right now, if I tell you I love LaStella, then check LaStella off and lock him. You really want to do that for your first lineup. You can take 3 lineups like that too. What I would do is I would take one lineup and say, okay, I want to make sure I pitch Musgrove and I want the Dodgers guys. Click, 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 lock, 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 optimize. Okay, now in this lineup, I want to pitch Bundy because Joey likes Bundy today. So unclick Musgrove, click Bundy, and then, you know what, maybe I don't want the Dodgers on this lineup. I want the Angels on this lineup. So I'm going to click Trout and Ohtani and then optimize. Okay. So you could basically just reset it after you make your lineup, put your lineup in. You can export these lineups. There's all kinds of stuff you could do. I'm literally talking to the people who don't even know how to set a lineup on DFS right now. So you can just keep remaking and making lineups, keep playing with it, ask questions in the chat. We'll explain all that to you. Go to the, does anyone have any questions on any of that stuff there, Hoffman?
You basically just answered a bunch of the questions all in that whole rant you just did there. One of the questions was, is FanDuel available in all states to play in DFS?
All but like 7, I think.
Yeah. List said, is it better to play slates with more teams available?
What do you mean?
Like with more games available, I think she probably means.
Yeah,
Is that
I
what you
mean, I actually usually, the main slate has the biggest payouts. So for me, I always play the main slate almost exclusively. I just can't get a high off, small payouts. Does nothing for me. So the main slate is usually the most popular slate. Because of that, a lot of these smaller slates and after hours slates and early slates and stuff like that tend to be a little bit easier because like me aren't wasting our time on the 2-game after hours slate. We're still sweating the main slate because we have a few different teams that are still alive. Iconic, now to go to your thing before about the 2-game slates and how you've been killing them, they are a little softer. They are a little easier. The prize pools aren't as big, but they are a little easier because one, there's less teams to look at, and a lot of the big players don't play them because we're all still in the main slate.
You guys want that big bucks?
Yeah.
Now, Tommy,
I'll small ball all day.
how long is this awesome 100% guaranteed thing to last for free?
The Deep 100,
Yes.
there is no guarantee. We're just
No. So what are we doing? So people, some people. So what I'm saying is, when are people are paying for this, right?
Yeah. So your first week right now is free for the Deep 100. It's just for the first week. So you can go in there if you don't have it. Go to the subscription page. Kind of. If you don't have it, scroll down. So that's the bet packages. These are the DFS packages. If you want to get in it, you can get in it. You can just click the purchase thing on the $14. You don't have to do it. Click purchase for the $14 and put in Deep 100, and it's free. A week. Keep in mind that is going to auto renew. Night Ghost, did you have anything with that? Ghost, mute. Ghost. Night Ghost died. Right. So, so if you guys have any,
Oh yeah, I hit the X and I went to hit mute.
what's the? I'm just telling them about the auto renew on the DFS, so they know. What are we doing, that?
So they should get the week free, and then after that, they'll get the 20% off that they normally would if they just signed up as a newcomer.
All right. So if you want, it'll auto renew at 80% of the price you see on there for you guys since you're subscribers. Okay. So you can get it free for a week. If you don't want it, just cancel it when it's about to run out. If you want to keep it, it'll auto renew with an automatic 20% discount every week. If you want to upgrade it, one of the monthly or yearly or get the full package, you could use the Data 30, the bigger packages, and you'll get 30% off it. and it's already discounted. So all those questions, we have the little help thing at the bottom right corner of the website. You could hit us up, but you could upgrade right through your account. If you go to your account, you could upgrade that. Let's go back. Any of the sales stuff and purchase stuff, we'll handle that with you guys individually. So that's basically the optimizer, just kind of a quick run through of how it works. Any other questions on any of that stuff, Hoff?
Yeah, there was two other questions. One was, so the guys at the top are generally the best choices.
Or what?
What are you referring to there, Lex?
Go fill out the slate thing again, Iconic, just so the player pool comes up.
Oh, she might not be in here. Hold on, let me respond to her.
Scroll down a little more.
And then the other one was
Right there. Go scroll up a tiny bit more. Okay. So you
How
can
do you
see,
use this?
let me answer this before you ask that. So you could see up above the black bar across the screen there, it says pitcher, catcher, first base, second base, third base. So if you filled out your lineup, you're like, damn, I need a cheap second baseman. You just click on second base, on 2B, Iconic. At second base, and then you can see the second baseman available. Stay scroll down there. Yeah, down a little further. Yeah. Okay. The green check means they're in the lineup. Okay, because keep in mind, you want to make sure you're not starting people who aren't in the lineup. So it's the sites show you this nowadays. When I started, it didn't. Now they show you if your guy's in the lineup. So always check your lineup before the games start to make sure all your guys are starting in it and didn't get scratched or COVID or some shit. You have to swap them out. We can
But
see
I
here.
noticed today, Tommy, some of the games were like that Minnesota game was canceled, but they still had all the players in.
Right, yeah, you got to. Yeah, the thing about
Everything.
DFS, it's not like betting where it's like you're just bets void, right? I think you don't have to pay attention to that shit. If you have a bet on the Minnesota game and the Minnesota game gets rained out, your bet's just void. If you have a player on the Minnesota game in your DFS line, you get a 0 for him. Okay? And if you get a 0 for him, we're not going to win any tournaments. So, got to pay more attention if you're playing DFS. That's why you guys should communicate, in the chat room. Stay active in the chat, especially when it comes close to lineup lock. Lineup lock is 7:05 normally, 7:07, 7:10. You can adjust your lineup up until 7:07 or whatever time the games start. And all those players that start at 7:07 lock. Once that game is scheduled to start, you can't change those players anymore. You can still change players who haven't started. Go to the FanDuel page again, Iconic. Like a lineup? Yeah, right. So right here. Do you have any lineups in play right now on yours? Anything live?
No, I don't. I'm going to be playing the late night. Get right.
Okay. So go to, so let's see where it is mine. Hold on. So live. All right. And when you go to that page, I'm just trying to see where it is. Okay. Go to that lineup again, or go to where you were just to build a lineup. Okay. Once you have your lineup in, there'll be a little button. I'll show you where it is. I'm going to post it in the chat right now. It's above your score on FanDuel. It says edit lineup. How do we get out of this? There we go. On DraftKings, most people like DraftKings better. That seems to be the consensus. So if you look there, top of the score, the top right corner, it says edit lineup above the 9. That's how you would edit your lineup. DraftKings is more user friendly for sure. It's way more popular than FanDuel. I personally play more on FanDuel. I've always had a little more success on FanDuel. I'm not really sure why. Everyone I know plays DraftKings like more than FanDuel. So choose, play them both, and then see which one you like more. Most of you guys played football contests and stuff like that we did. At least started getting comfortable with it, so you have an idea of how everything works. Hoffman.
You kind of answered this, but is it still the same concept for baseball, similar to football, where you want a return of 3x what the player's cost to draft?
That
Like the return on the price versus what their point value is? You
Hmm.
kind of touched on that earlier.
Right, yeah. So I mean, on FanDuel, you're looking for 3.5x for cash games. You know, for what is it, 4x? I don't even remember, dude. I haven't played DFS in 2 years, so I'm gonna have to go read my own tutorials from back then to remember what the fucking price X's are and shit like that. But I'll get back to you on that. I don't even remember what the fuck it is. So what other questions?
The other one was, how do you use the stacking feature on the optimizer?
Not ready for that yet, guys. Just
Okay.
we'll do an optimizer tutorial for those of you that are advanced. Those of you that are new, just click the names. Don't get caught up in that. It's important, but again, some of you are too new. I don't want to. This is a 101 training right now.
Pricing. What do you mean text, like talk pricing, like DK versus FanDuel? And what we can use advantage. We can use it as an advantage.
Pricing algo DK versus FanDuel, we can use it as advantage. You will see different prices for guys on different sites. So that is common. You'll see some guys that are very cheap on DraftKings and very expensive on FanDuel. That's where you would want to kind of adjust. If there's a couple players that you love, then you'll want to, if they're cheaper on FanDuel, as far as where they rank. Now the pricing is always going to be a little different based on how much money you have. But when you go to look at the pictures, this is a bad time to do this, to go this in depth on it, because I need to literally share 2:00 in the afternoon so you can see it. There's no visual here with a 2-game afternoon slate. So go into this stuff later in an advanced session. So ignore this.
This is a more general
Simple.
question.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, go.
Is there any positions you usually punt more than often?
Yes, you punt the on DraftKings. You tend to punt catcher position a lot because there's not that many good catchers. So really gives a shit. You know, like you want to punt positions at there isn't a lot of risk if your guy scores 2 that there's not someone at that position scoring 40. And so catcher seems to be a very popular position to punt because it's a weaker position. Not that many great catchers in baseball. You usually will punt maybe second base, shortstop. Shortstop's another very popular punt position just because there's not a lot of really great power hitting shortstops. Maybe one outfield position. And so if you got 2 big outfielders, you could punt the third one. It's not as much about what position as it is about just getting the best lineup possible. But normally catcher, shortstop, and second base are the positions on DraftKings. On FanDuel, he eliminated the catcher. It's catcher / first base. Oh, no, you don't punt that position anymore. So on FanDuel, you're usually punting shortstop and second base. I had with Segura and La Stella today. Other questions?
Pretty much sums it up for the general questions.
Keep asking, guys. I need to know what you guys.
I'm trying to think. I did have questions. I forget them now. They're probably more advanced, anyways. I'll wait to ask you.
In football. Yeah, Zeke. That is very simple.
Boxes. That's
You
more
don't-
of an advanced kind of question. TX though, he wants to know what boxes that the pitchers check off. That's more advanced, right?
I mean, for pitchers, you're looking for high strength. I mean, the new people aren't going to really even be able to. That's why you're basically getting comfortable just leaning on us, like right at first, until you get comfortable. But strikeouts are extremely important. So I kind of go back to the FanDuel lineup, all right, and click on click out of that. Click on the scoring rules and scoring. Okay. All right. So if you look, there's the rules in scoring. Okay. You could see strikeouts are worth 3 points. That's important. That's a lot. That's the most important category for a pitcher because you can get 10 of those, right? Which can give you 30 points. Innings pitched is pretty important, but keep in mind most pitchers are going to pitch between 4 and 7. Right? Even Joe Ross today got his fucking brains beat in, and he still went 4 innings. Right? So you're really looking at 12 to 21 points. So that's not that drastic, not that important. It's good, but it's not that important. Strikeouts, you could have one pitcher strike out 15 and another guy strike out 2. A 39-point difference there. Strikeouts is the main thing you're looking for. Win and quality start combined is 10 points. So that's a lot. That's where I got fucked the other day with May, where I was about to win that $50,000. And I said, I just need May to get the quality start. Quality start is when a pitcher goes 6 innings, allows 3 runs or less. As long as he finishes the 6th inning, he's only given up 3 runs or less, you'll get 4 bonus points. Okay? And for the win, a win in baseball, pitcher has to have gone at least 5 innings, had the lead when he left the game, the other team to have never tied it again. If that team's win, he gets the win. If your pitcher pitched 6 innings, he was up 3-0, they end up winning 3-2, he's going to get the win. Second that game gets tied, pitcher who's out of the game can no longer qualify for the win. You need your pitcher to be winning when he leaves the game, then them to finish the game winning without ever being tied. That's how the wins work. If you look on the right side, you see single, double, triple, home run, walk. For the home run, 12 points for the home run, plus you get 3.2 points for the run that he scored when at the home run, plus you get 3.5 points for the RBI. He batted, he got himself in. So a RBI is a run batted in. If your player's batting and he gets a hit and someone on base scores, it's called a run batted in. That's worth 3.5. Run is when your player touches home plate and scores a run. Home run is when the ball goes over the fence. So you get about 18, I think it's 18.7 points per home run. You'll get 3 points for a single, 3 points for a walk, 6 points for a double, 18.7 for a home run. As you can tell, we usually hunt home runs. Right? So that's very important. And a stolen base is worth 6. Stolen bases are pretty unpredictable, but when they happen, they're great. So those tend to be a little more luckier. Stolen bases are 6 points. Does that make sense, everyone?
I got some more questions. You there, Tommy? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
How do you decide what teams to stack?
Usually it's based on the team totals. I mean, that's the easiest way for you guys to do it. The way I do it is I have a 37-part algorithm in my brain that I use. So that's going to be too much. The easiest way for you to do it, the teams with the highest team totals, Vegas thinks you're going to score the most points. So that's the easiest way to kind of gauge it right off the bat. When you look at, and again, it's a bad time to show this because there's no lines up for tomorrow and there's only 2 games left. If you see the team totals, I don't know if you have any books open, Connor. Have a sports book open anywhere in there? One to use. 365, yeah. That's
I'm
fine.
opening 365 right now.
That's fine. You don't even need to log in. Just click baseball. Okay. You get it where they show all the games lined up? All right, there. All right. If you look at the 3 games that are left, you can see the top two, the Rangers Angels game and the Mariners game, have an 8.5 over under. Padres game has a 6.5 over under. Right. So obviously going to be a lot less runs in that Padres Brewers game. You don't want to stack that game. There's a game on the board with a 10.5 over under, and you'd want to target that. That's a game that's probably going to have more runs. The easiest way to do it is to use whatever games me, Ghost, Joey, Bill, Rackets, whatever we're on. If we're on the Toronto team total, or if we're on the Philly team total, those are usually some that you can target. Like you can see tonight, I'm on the Dodgers team total, and I stacked the Dodgers and DFS. The team totals are the way to do it. You guys know how to find team totals if you've been in here gambling, but team total is the best way to find it out. You want to stack against bad pitchers. That's what I do.
What sort of projected score are you looking for in cash games?
Again, I got to go run all these metrics again because this industry's changed so much. And I just started playing again 10 days ago. I'll run circles around all these guys, as you've seen. But I got to see what the projected scores are. So I'm doing that this week. Usually in the cash games, I think like 120. Get you across. FanDuel. I don't get
for your utility slot, should you leave it open for late game swaps?
Yeah, you always want to have the so with the utility spot, always want to have, you don't have a utility spot on DraftKings. It's not as important. On FanDuel, you do have the utility spot. In the utility spot, you could put anyone in there. You could put anyone from any position in any game. What you want to do is if you have 2 third basemen, you're going to put one of them in the utility spot, right? You want to put the one who starts later, the utility spot. So you want to always try and make sure your utility spot as the guy who's at a duplicate position, the latest starting guy.
Smaller slates, can we have bats in our lineup versus our starting pitcher? Smaller slates only.
What's that?
Someone said on smaller slates, is it okay to have bats in your lineup versus your starting pitcher?
You don't want to do that. I would almost. I mean, listen, if you're doing a 2-game slate, yes, or you almost have to sometimes. But in the bigger slates, you want to try and avoid playing any bats against your pitcher, just because it's like playing a defense against your quarterback. Right? If it's a cheap guy, like for $2,000, or cheap guy where you're only looking for him to get a single or two, that's fine. You don't want to play any big bats. Like you don't want to play Bryce Harper against your pitcher. Because for Bryce Harper to pay off value, you'd need to homer and you'd want multiple RBIs. And if that's the case, he's probably going to light your pitcher up. You're cutting your nose off space. What else you got?
If playing call GPP single entry, not
Sorry,
a bad idea to stack
I'm not playing
4 or 5 soon.
Yeah, so we'll get into more strategy and stuff like that for GPPs in the advanced sessions this week, but this is just a generic one.
Any other questions, guys?
Iconic. If you what other question? Late swap. So you could swap out players who haven't started yet. So you guys right now don't need to swap too much. Again, if you're just getting started, it's more of a advanced strategy. You don't need to fuck with it too much. What you will do is if your team is shitting the bed early, you got 3 players playing late that you know are going to be chalk. Everyone else is on, basically drawing dead. Your players that were different sucked. Your players that you have high hopes for, everyone else has. So in that situation, you'd want to just take a shot. Lineup's probably dead anyway. You might as well just switch to some really weird players late. And maybe 1 or 2 of them hits a home run or 2 home runs, and then you can get back in it. I don't really late swap at all. When I built my lineups the way I built them, the only time I'll swap is if I realize that do the math, and I could see the guy in front of me has 2 guys left, and I have 2 guys left. I'm in second. He's in first. He has the same 2 guys mathematically. I could see he's got a third baseman and a shortstop. I got a third baseman and a shortstop. The prices are the same. I know he's got the same 2 guys left I have. So in that situation, maybe I'll move off my shortstop to a different shortstop. I know I can't beat him. He's already ahead of me, and he's got the same 2 guys left as me. So that's where you'll use some strategy on that.
Yeah, someone was just asking if he should late swap his pitcher right now. It's Bundy. No, leave him in there.
No, I mean, listen, the bottom line is if you liked the guy before the game started and he didn't start, why would you like him any less? Right? Like once you start playing with your lineups, that shit fucks you up every time. Put it and forget it. Put it and forget it. Put it in, ride it.
Tinkering.
Any other questions, guys?
The main takeaways for you guys is use that optimizer if you can. Read the articles, ask questions in the chat, try and make sure you get the pitcher right. Right? That's the most important thing. So always try and pay up pitching if you can on your main lineup. And let me just go to the contest page too in a second. Pay up for pitching. You'll get 1 or 2 of the favorite bats that you like. And use stacking, so you get a couple guys together, at least 2, if not 4. And then on the cheap guys, use that F/points on the optimizer. That's going to help you. Go back to the research. Go back to the Data Hub, Mike Connor.
The Data Hub. I'm on.
Doesn't want. I can't find it.
The Data Hub.
Reading the articles is critical, like Iconic said, guys.
Well, I mean, you get an insight of what Tommy, Joey, and Nico are thinking
it's
about.
very important.
And then you come in, just do it because they can't always answer your questions. Right?
There's a reason why Jay is always 5 steps ahead of everyone. That's everything that's new in like a week.
They're not even wrong, but they're very informative.
One, it's because she's still in like school mode, and probably has more time, but she's smart and she takes crazy notes. Anytime there's something new that happens, she's always 3 steps ahead of everyone else in the chat room. Shows not that it can't be done, it's just that she's putting in more time to it. She's got crazy notes on everything. You'll see Nicole and Maddie and others tend to normally jump ahead. I won't count, Raven and Dreamy and like the OGs who've been here for a while. But the people who take the most notes usually end up being the ones who pick it up the quickest. Right? So, this is just like anything else. Alyssa picks it up quick. Like this is just like anything else. Like if you put energy into it, it's going to be simple. If you're lazy, you're never going to figure it out. You'll still be able to play because we're going to give you plays and we have the optimizer and all this shit. Still be fine. Just be reliant on us. And if you want to live that life, that's fine. You really want to have your own take into it so that we're an aid to you rather than just giving you what we play. Because the bottom line is there's hundreds and hundreds of people at this company. The bigger we get, the more people are going to be playing Tommy's exact plays, and Joey's exact plays, and Night Ghost's exact plays. You're going to start ending up competing with just the 4Deep people for all the tournaments. That's what happened at my last company. We'd have subscribers competing against each other at the top of the list. And some of them would have the same exact lineup. So the more you could put your own little flair into it, your own little couple sneaky picks, it's a good thing to do. So take a couple picks that maybe I don't even like, or that you just have a weird feeling on, or that you did research on. You want to add your own little sauce to it. That's what separated me from everyone else for years. I always had these weird little plays that I would always jump on, like Higashioka the night. I'd play him in a $1,000 entry contest. So the cheaper the contest, the more people take risks. more expensive you get, the less risks people take. The big reward is to take risks at high dollar levels. That's why I like those $1,000 games and stuff like that, because no one takes any risks. I'll throw in the craziest shit in there. You only need to hit it, 3 times a year, and you're good. You have one hit like last week, and I'm good for the year. I mean, I don't need to have another one of those all year. Because that now I'll just grind from there. Let's see.
Oh shit, where did that just go? I had one. Hold on. For new DFS players, should you play $50 head-to-head games or $50 cash game?
Let me come out and come back in because I can't find that comic stream. Hold on, stay.
Shit.
Okay. You guys hear me?
Yeah.
All right. So I kind of go to the FanDuel lobby. What site are most of you guys playing on? FanDuel or DraftKings? Write F in the chat or D in the chat. Both. All right, so it seems pretty split. And Lex is drunk. All right, cool. All right, so let's go to. So if you go to the lobby on FanDuel, go to that first real quick. And again, I'm going to do a tutorial on this. But so if you what's up?
Did you say the first tournament?
Just the lobby. No, just the
Oh,
lobby.
okay, just the lobby. Okay.
If you go to the lobby page and you click on MLB, that'll bring you to the list of MLB contests, right? And you'll see it says tournaments, beat the score, multipliers, head-to-heads, 3 to 100 player, and 50-50s. So the 50-50s, first of all, you want to do the beginner games. I don't even know where that is because I don't have it showing on my thing. But you want to try and do the beginner games more than anything because they're easy.
Usually at the bottom, but if you are new, they should be at the top.
Yeah. Let's see. Hold on.
So they'll say beginners only.
Yeah.
You see on my screen there.
Yeah, those beginner games are the big ones for you. So, and then if scroll back up to the top of the page, you can sort I'm sorry, down a little bit. On the left side here, you see the entry fee thing? Nope, you were just there.
Oh, where is
Down. Right
okay.
there. So see where it says entry fee? You can sort that by whatever size you want. So just put it $0 to $5 or whatever.
Oops.
Yeah. So now that'll just show you all the contests that are $0 to $5. There's no point in you seeing all those other contests if they're more expensive. So when you scroll back up to the top, if you click on 50-50s, right? So those 50-50s right there, okay? You can see that's how many people are in them. The more people, the better usually. You usually like to target the 100, or more.
That's the
So
question I wanted to know.
Yeah, so you want to go to the more people that are in it, the better.
Okay.
Usually. So like if you want to play a $5 50-50, that means there's 100 people in it, and the top 50 are going to double their money. The bottom 50 are going to make nothing. That would be like a straight bet. The 50-50s are basically like the straight bets. Okay? That's where you're just trying to beat the other 50 people. Okay? So if you're in the top half, you basically double your money. You pay 5 to win 4 or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like a straight minus 120. Right? So that's where you'd want to do a large portion of your bankroll. If you're playing $50 today, I'd like to see you put like $35 to $40 in 50-50s. And you could just do your main lineup, your best lineup. Realistically, you could just run with the straight optimal lineup. Just use the optimizer lineup. The optimizer is the nuts.
Yo, Tommy, pause Tommy, pause right there because this question plays right into it. So if you pay $50 a night and all in 50-50s, is it better to play two $25 lineups or five $10 lineups?
I mean, I play one cash lineup. So I would play one, I would pick one lineup. I would use the optimizer for that. It's better than anyone else's 50-50 in the industry. It's phenomenal. The optimizer is really building the most optimal, safer lineup, right? So the optimizer is great for that. I think Iconic, you've just been doing that cash like almost every day, right?
Yeah, except for one day in like the last 10 days.
Right. So, I mean, that's the best thing because that optimizer is going to beat half of the industry for sure, consistently. You only need it to beat half the industry like 60% of the time, and it'll beat it like 70% of the time. So, you pick Musgrove, you pick Turner, you pick fucking one other guy we love, and optimize, and boom, there you go. All right. So, that's for your 50-50s. Usually just do one lineup for that, and that's your do or die all in, cash game lineup. And then you'll have another $15 left. And it doesn't matter if you do $7 $5 50-50s or one $35 50-50. Ideally, you'd want to diversify a little bit. Just spread it out, but it really doesn't matter. It's not that important. And then with your other $15, maybe you'll enter a $5 tournament with a big payout up top, and you put 3 different lineups in at $5 a pop. So that's the way you would do it there. You want to do 2 or 3 lineups in the tournaments, and then one lineup in the cash games, the 50-50s.
How should your fantasy bankroll compare to your gambling bankroll?
It's up to you. I mean, right now it should be smaller because you're still getting comfortable. You're still learning. So it's not until you learn and have had success. On some days, my fantasy bankroll is 5 times my gambling bankroll. On other days, my gambling bankroll is 50 times, and I don't even play daily fantasy that day. It depends on the slate. It depends on, and again, this is some more advanced stuff when we start the shows and everything that we'll get into, but it depends on what that day looks like. If I really love, like tonight, it's about even. I love the Dodgers and Musgrove, right? Tonight is probably a day where I personally would want to play more gambling than DFS because a lot of people like Musgrove today and a lot of people like the Dodgers today. So I'm not going to really be that different in DFS, right, to go take home a tournament today. I'd probably just want to go bang, just slay their props and just gamble on that. It depends how much stuff you like to bet on that specific day. Normally it'll be similar because if you see a lot of bets you like, you probably see a lot of DFS plays you like. But I would say the way we're playing it, we're betting on props, and DFS is pretty much just props with prices. And be on the same people usually. DFS plays will be similar. Another thing you could do is you could use it as a little bit of a hedge, right? So if you're playing on FanDuel today and you like Musgrove and you play Musgrove in your DFS lineup, maybe you don't want to go crazy betting on his pitcher prop until you see where your DFS lineup is at, right? So I put in my DFS lineup at 7:00. If all of a sudden I'm in first place in all the DFS tournaments because I had the St. Louis stack, the Washington bats, and everything's going nuts, and I have Musgrove as my pitcher in DFS, maybe lay off his pitcher prop. You're already basically betting on him. If he goes crazy, you're going to win your DFS shit. So you don't need to double down. If anything, you maybe hedge. We do a little hedge on the under on his pitcher prop. You'll be able to start using DFS and gambling together as a form of a hedge, one for the other. And again, that's a little more advanced. We'll get into that. I have another hire or two who's coming on, hopefully this week. Once I get my DFS gangsters on here, we'll be doing a little more stuff with that. Right now, just ask me or Ghost, and we'll kind of fill you in on that right now.